All right, hey, Dave Knight here for 123daytrade.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Today was Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. I don't like making these videos. I really don't. But you got to recognize when you screw up. I have been doing so good until today. Um, Look at that, 19 trades. And there was a time that I was up 40 cents today. I'd worked my way back up to be up 40 cents. Yay. So, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Where did I screw up my day? It really starts from the beginning of the day. So let's go back to the beginning and let's look at where we are trading in relation to where the market is. When we open up here at my 8 o'clock start, where are we trading? We're trading between S1 to S2. And I know better than this. So that should mean that I should be looking at a short signal into my sweet spot, right? What did I end up doing to start with? I went long right here. When I should have been short from the open after the 805 mark. So the reason I didn't short, which I can live with this particular decision because there ends up being a better short later in the morning. As I believe that if you have to have enough room for profit in between trades. Now, the problem with that particular philosophy is we had already been to S2 a couple times prior to us reaching it right here. So this was actually, and if you look back and look at it, from my understanding, is the third time, and I'll show you. So let's blow this chart up. Let's go back and look how many times we had been to S2. So I guess it was only the second time. So it was a double bottom and then a breakthrough of the double bottom. So we had already been here. Therefore, since we've already been here, a break underneath that could be expected. Now we see this volume bar right there. Now even if I missed this particular entry and thought, all right, maybe the bottom is here. And what I looked at, to be honest, is I thought we were going to do this and into the open. I believe that we were going to come bouncing off this S2 and coming up through here incorrectly as I started seeing volume kicking in here a little bit, right? Once again, recognize where you are in your trading day. Where are you trading? So this started my losing right here from this point. My opening trade going against the grain, trying to go long because I've been working on my long strategy, right? If you've been following me, you know I'm working on my long strategy, and I've got a pretty decent long strategy overall now on most days. Today didn't work out, and well, I'm not going to get into the why it doesn't work out because I know where I screwed up. I'll briefly explain. I've already told you why I shouldn't. After I attempted a long later that was a decent long signal, and then that failed. That's when I should have stopped going after that. So as we push to S3, right there probably is a good place to try an attempt. And we have a high volume, but all this volume here ends up being failure volume. So right here, even if I missed this point, so let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of all this shit. And this is stuff that you know, I kick myself over. So here's your break. Here's your bar. Signifies here. Goes up a little bit, and then it becomes failure below this. So even if I missed this particular setup up here, there was an entry point down here to try it on. Now it was worth a little bit of money, and then it came all the way back up, and we'll look at it in just a minute. But it was worth some money coming down, you know, at least a 1p move on this particular, which would have been worth about 19 ticks. Would have been able to get 2 out of it, but there was an opening trade to catch the short to start with. And we're looking at a day that did this. At some point, you got to say, and I was looking at the double bottom. So when I was going long, I was looking at the double bottom, that we're going to be a double bottom and head up. And I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but where are we trading? And maybe a double bottom against trading pivot point to R1 works. But a pivot point, but trading S1, S2 down here into a double bottom, maybe not such a very good idea. Another thing that went on in my trading, not that I'm making excuses, I'm glad I'm just in FTP. Trust me, it's. I know going into FTP, I want to try a few things and learn a couple things, and I want to be able to give myself some flexibility. But I usually have that rule, right? Nothing good happens after 5 trades. Well, how many trades am I over 5 there? 14. If I would have taken 5 shorts today and allowed some room in my shorts. Now, I like the way I was setting up the longs. And the longs, and what I wrote in my notes right now, bottom line, give more room on shorts and less room on longs. So that's kind of, I've got to play to my strength, right? My strength in my trading historically has been on the short side. And I've been concentrating so much on my long movements that I've kind of ignored my strength. And I'm paying for it. And I paid for it today with 19 trades. And most of them, except I think I had 1 short in the whole time. So of the 19 trades, I tried 18 longs in a movement that looks like this. And I kept trying for a Fibonacci retracement, and it works sometimes if you can find the right bottom. But look where we're trading. You know, at some point you got to give it up, right? Say that ideally I'd like to have caught the S1 movement, right? This right here ends up being 4 in the morning. So when we're coming into my trading day in the US, we're already trading here. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at this movement, thinking we're coming into a double bottom, and we're going to go back this way. And that's just because I've been trying to work on my long strategy more than my short. So yes, I have reset. My account high in FTP was about $632, I think. And this one actually wins some money. So even after I hit the button, I'm still above one. I think I finished at like 150 positive on the account. Where is it? 121, excuse me. 121 positive. So this ends up being a positive cancellation of FTP. So on this case, you know, I had built up my account. Now, what was I, you know, the other side of this, not that I'm making excuses, but how many days had I been at, this was my, I believe my 11th or my 12th day in FTP. And I had only got up $600, 632. So I'm honestly, I'm pretty frustrated coming into this trading day. And it showed in my trading because I have 19 trades on. So I'm looking to get into funded, and this is not the way to get into funded right here, right? I mean, recognize where you are in relation to your trading. It's nowhere near pivot. I mean, I looked at that we could make a move back to pivot, and after a while you got to give up on the long signals. You got to say enough's enough, throw in the towel, and allow the market. You know, these are kind of moves that I used to pick up 75 to 80 ticks of profit coming into trades like this. The thing is that it wouldn't be all this European stuff prior to the market. You know, we see the crude oil market really starts coming down from, you know, right at European Open and so forth. Not a lot, but about 4 o'clock you start seeing, 3 o'clock a.m. you start seeing the movement. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're sitting down here. So all right, so back to my trading. What do I know about today? Today was a day that I had no business trying to be long after this failure line. So I missed this short at the open. So I've got to recognize that my open trade can be a winner and allow it to move, especially if the open and the trade work out. So an open long from pivot point to R1 might be a good long, right? And a good short on off the open might be because you're trading underneath the pivot point. In this case, right on top of S2. So this could have easily been a nice little short entry to start the day off because we're in relation of where we're trading. So that's some knowledge that I learned along the way, you know, that I've been watching the open. Where are you in relation to where the market is? In other words, where are you in relation to the pivot point? And then use that against the open. This is the long area and this is the short area. Did we get anywhere near the long side of this market? The answer to that is no, right? So underneath this open here, and we didn't go into this zone at all, there was no reason to be long at all on this trading day when I was taking it on. So, and this has a lot to do with me trying to, and I'm not making excuses, but if you've been following me, I've been working on my long setups. And for the most part, they've been pretty good. I've been able to catch most of them. But at some point, You got to learn where you are. And I know where I was. Just like I don't like taking a short above R2, I shouldn't be taking a long below S2. And that's my fault. That is my fault. There's a couple rules that I try to follow, right? Where R2 and S2. And I'm going to try to be my best to follow this from now on. Most of the time, taking shorts above R2 is not a good idea. And most of the time, taking longs below S2 is not a good idea unless you get extreme kind of blow off volume. $2,000 isn't enough to stop the market from going down below S2. Now, maybe above S1 it is. Maybe at pivot point it is. But below S2, no. We can look over this way a lot more 2,000 running stops all day today. Well, so this opening trade could have been a winner. And the short that I'm proud that I caught, in a bad day, at least I saw something. Here's a Gann signal coming in against the short move. And I ended up getting short right in this area. So even though I had a bad trading day, my one and only short I took on the day was right in here, going on the fourth time through, coming this way. So it was a Gann setup on my fourth time through. And we were using prior information to go short. After the opening short, this was the retracement. You can see I got knocked out right at the top, so I shouldn't have been in a little bit lower. I got in here, and I should have been at 07, and it knocked me out just barely. I get back in, and then it goes my way. This right here is my fault too, as I was so excited to be in a short that I didn't give it enough room on the trade, or I should have waited for it to form a little bit better and then get into it. My fault. My fault once again, my fault. Then the market goes down, but look at this crap. This thing right here takes me out. This move coming up zooms up and knocks me out. If that doesn't knock me out, I may or may not have been knocked out here. But you're looking at we're looking at the SMA right now. I would not have been knocked out through here. I would have not been knocked out through here. And here's where I would have been knocked out of the trade. Right in here. So the short side entry would have been knocked out from the Gann signal up there around this level. So there's some good in the bad, right? And you see this volume bar right there. It's like, how many times do you have to learn something over and over again before it sinks in? And I'm proud of what I've accomplished so far this year in my trading, because I have become a better long side trader, but not when I do this up here. I mean, I've been saying that nothing really good happens after 5 trades. So and even if I double that to 10, where I've been able to get back and get out of the crap. You know, maybe when I'm taking on long setups, I can bump this up to 10, but not on the short side setups. Short side setups, because I'm not looking to take a hit on the long. I'm looking for momentum to drive up, and it might take a couple entries to be able to catch that. But at some point in a session, the market will show its hand. Looks like it has finally, by the way. Finally see a lack of interest around the 60.95 mark to drive the market any lower. But honestly, we should have been out of this trade a lot earlier, like around here. So there was a nice setup. And if I could have held on to it, instead of taking all those long signals along the way, this could have been a really nice winning day for me. Sometimes I think it starts from the setup, right? You can second guess yourself. But even if I missed that, I really shouldn't have been in. This is about where I should have been along, above the 200 bar and above this line. So there's where the long kind of comes in to play. You got to recognize where you are. And the odds of this bar being a failure bar are a lot greater because of where you are. Food for thought for the day. So I've reset. I'm having issues with Demio. I'm getting with them. I don't know if I'm going to continue the service with Demio at this point. Tomorrow is the last day before May 4th, and the 4th is a day that they're going to charge me again. And I'm not real satisfied with the service since I've got since I've picked up the last router that I have. Things aren't really, and I'm not making excuses again, but you know, maybe I just need to take a step back here, because there's a lot of information in my course already, and obviously I'll put this in the course too, along with my day itself of screwing up. Total honesty, total transparency. So it is an FTP that I win overall before I blew up today. Let's look at this. So here's 8 o'clock. And here comes the first long signal at 8:15. What I'm noticing is that the 5-minute chart might help me stay in along a little bit better. And my 89 tick chart seems to really work good on the short side entries. And then once I move into an entry point using that 200 bar SMA. So a combination of things I've been working on. And here comes that short signal that I talked about right here. This is where the GAN signal came in to go into short side. Look. And then roughly from this point forward until now, maybe right in here. This is where you're coming out previous to the mark. This is a nice trending day. This doesn't happen very often. So let's get past FTP now and move on to the next stage. Well, this one I finished up about, I don't know, after today it wasn't a very good trade, but up until this point I was sitting up about 632, and then I think I allowed me trading 11 days and not really 12 days or whatever it was, and not really getting any nice big moves in FTP, and messing a bunch of stuff and not seeing it correctly kind of ate at me a little bit, and I see that being reflected in my trading over the last couple of days. So hopefully I'll get grounded here and work my way back to learning. I don't think I've ever stopped learning. The market continues to be the teacher, and I'm the student. I'm a forever student. I think in the end, you gotta learn when to stop. When you're not, when the market and you aren't in unit, aren't working together, you gotta learn when to quit, right? And believe it or not, I know I need to quit before I hit 19 trades, right? So I kept on trying. I mean, if I believe that nothing good happens after 5, why in the hell am I going after 19? Even if I double it to 10, that's still 5 more than I should be. But I mean, I can understand me going after maybe a 10 trade day against the market on a long that I'm just trying to pick off, and it keeps on getting me out at break even. So I can understand some of the things, but you got to recognize, David, me personally, I've got to recognize where I am. Taking a long below S2 without proof that it's done going down, not a good idea. So when I think about this trading day, when I think about things that I could have done better, I got to remember where I am. Taking a long above R2, not a good idea. I mean, taking a short and taking a long below S2, not a good idea to start the day without proof positive that the volume and the price action have proven that they want to stop going in a certain direction. So follow the path of least resistance, stuff that I know. That's going to do it for this particular video. Hope you enjoy it. My haters will be loving on it. But I did finish positive in the FTP this time around, even though I did blow it up. And I'll learn from my mistakes, and I'm not out $440. I'm only out the $100 reset. So still work my way to funded. Still allowing myself the ability, and I'm thankful that one of my talents that I have is a short-term memory loss. I allow myself to forget about this trading day, and I learn from it, and then I allow myself to just say, F it, man, move on to the next day. And I know that a good night's rest will allow me to be a better trader the next day. So allow yourself, I know that I'm going to have screw up days. There's no doubt about it. But I've got to stop the insanity of this. This is where, and this is frustration kicking in. It being 11 days in and only up $600. So, or 12 days in. I'm either 12 or 11 days in FTP right now, and I've missed some trades along the way, and I was only up $600 coming into the day, and now obviously I've got to reset and move and do. I got to work my way back, you know. So the good news is with the reset, you start with the 1.5 again, and hopefully I'll have a good breakout trade to start with on Friday, because Friday has been good for me a lot of times. And I'll come into a weekend with a nice little game, maybe 30, 40, 50 ticks coming into Friday after tomorrow's trading to build on that into next week. Talk to you later. Bye for now.